You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Pick up a word in Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. Well, Kawesa, here we are. It's Friday. We made it. Yeah, it's crazy. This has been one of those weeks, though. This has been one of those weeks when I just got a lot to do. Kind of not, didn't get enough sleep. So I know my mom going to be calling me after the show like, boy, what you mean? Right. Yeah, I'm still boy. Yeah.
You always will be, though, for her.
I know. I'm still her baby. And but, we're here, and there is a whole lot going on, a whole lot of craziness, a whole lot of crazy atmosphere created by your crazy president. But we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about this because this is uplifting. Yesterday, we talked to a young man from Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey. That's Kawesa's alma mater. And he was brave enough to take a stand against racism by taking a knee on the field. Now one of the Philadelphia Eagles is also speaking out. Eagles defensive tackle Malik Jackson changed his national anthem posture a few weeks back from standing with his fists in the air to sitting on the bench. Jackson said Thursday there was a reason for the switch. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, Jackson was reacting to the decision not to file criminal charges against police officers for shooting and killing Breonna Taylor in her own apartment. The injustice to Breonna Taylor, saying that nobody got charged in her death, really bothered me, Jackson told the paper. I just couldn't stand for the flag after hearing our justice system say those cops did nothing wrong. That's where I'm at right now, and I personally feel that until she gets justice, that's where I'm going to stay. One ex-officer was charged with endangering people in a neighbor's apartment with his gunshots, but that charge did not mention Breonna Taylor. That's wrong, and until there's justice for that sister, until the system stops protecting itself and starts protecting us, until there's real and lasting change in how these cases are handled, football players aren't the only ones who should take a stand. All of us must stand up together. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. Councilwoman Cindy Bass on Philadelphia suing the state over gun laws. Michael Edison Hayden of the Southern Poverty Law Center on the rise of hate groups in the country. Daryl Marius of Cooser Elementary School in Hamilton, New Jersey, on proper etiquette for students and teachers when it comes to digital learning. Plus, financial consultant Akbar Hassan is back with your money advice. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at onWURD. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, President Donald Trump called Senator Kamala Harris a monster twice during an interview Thursday. The morning she made history as the first black and Asian American woman to participate in a vice presidential debate. This monster that was on stage with Mike Pence, who destroyed her last night, by the way, but this monster, Trump said in a rambling and manic hour-long phone interview with Fox Business. I thought that wasn't even a contest last night. She was terrible. I don't think you could get worse, he added, and totally unlikable. She's a communist, he said falsely. The president often refers to Democratic nominee Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe, but the use of monster went much further and was viewed by many as a dehumanizing term used because she is a woman of color. If you want black people to band together, keep talking. Keep talking. If you want black people to come out in droves, guess what? Keep talking. Keep calling that sister a monster. Because whether you like her or not, whether you believe in her policies or not, hold up, dog. That's a black woman. What you talking about, monster? You understand what I'm saying? Keep talking. Keep talking and see what happens. You're going to lose by a landslide because we are not here for that. If you want young black people to come out, keep calling that sister monster. Keep talking. That's what we want you to do. Keep on talking.
This man is nuts. I don't have words. I need for at this point, all of my women of color, Asian women, Indian women, black women, he talking about all of us. He really is. When you really break it down, he's talking about all of us. I'm sick of it. And that's the thing. I talked about it yesterday too. Just the fact that we as black women, we have to walk in a certain line because we don't want to come off as that scary or angry black woman. We don't want that to be the case, and then we also don't want to be looked at as not being strong enough either. So I'm just sitting there and you're right. Keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. You ain't getting my vote, and I pray to God that you don't get the vote of any, Indian and Asian women either.
Yeah, I know that's right. And that brings me to story number 2, because all our skin folk ain't our kinfolk. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a motion Wednesday attempting to bar an unidentified grand juror from speaking publicly about indictment proceedings in the Breonna Taylor case. Last week, the juror made the rare decision to file a motion with the court asking for Cameron to release audio recordings of the proceedings, as well as a request to speak freely about the case and the indictment process. Daniel Cameron claims, look, I'm all for people speaking freely, but this is going to ruin our criminal justice system. Allowing this disclosure would irreversibly alter Kentucky's legal system by making it difficult for prosecutors and the public to have confidence in the secrecy of the grand jury process going forward, to which I say, man, get out of here. I ain't trying to hear it. I remember, man, sitting there and watching the day that this thing was announced and watching this judge say he's charged with wanton endangerment in the first degree when it comes to a person with the initial CT, with the initial CM, with the initial C something else. And I kept waiting for her to say BT, but she never did. It was like a stab in the gut. Like, wait a minute. She's not talking about Breonna Taylor. And then it came out that nobody was charged with killing this woman. Nah, you got to release everything, man, because y'all lying, you're hiding the truth, and you help them do it. Kawesa, it's unacceptable.
It is. It's unacceptable. Brother, what are you doing? Because, listen, I can maybe, understand that, you was trying to, get your little foot in the door with Trump and all that kind of, okay, so that's why you did it. I know that's why you did it, but he don't want you, he's not going to choose you as a Supreme Court judge. He's not doing any of that. I just want, and I guess he never will wake up. He's in the sunken place, dark place, whatever you want to call it, and I don't think he's ever going to come out of it. I really don't. It just pisses me off so much. I can't even formulate the proper words at this point. It just pisses me off so much that you got our people out here not caring about us. I feel like they worse than I do. I feel like they worse than white folks who are out here hating. I do.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. You lower than low.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel the same way, because at the end of the day, they don't trust you either, man.
They don't.
You selling out your own. You really think they trust you? You know what I mean? It is unreal. But speaking of unreal, we got to talk about story number 3, my commentary for the day. So yesterday, they arrested 13 dudes on federal or state charges for plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. These guys weren't the sharpest people. They got caught because they shared their crazy ideas on social media. Then they started making plans with cats who turned out to be informants and undercover agents. One of those informants recorded conversations with one of the group's leaders, Adam Fox, who allegedly said he needed 200 men to storm the Capitol building in Lansing. According to the criminal complaint, they planned to take hostages, including Whitmer. Fox also told the informant they planned to try Whitmer for treason before the November 2020 elections, according to the criminal complaint. Obviously, these guys had way too much time on their hands, but this is about more than a bunch of idiots trying to kidnap government officials. It's about the way America treats women. especially women in positions of power. I thought of that when Kamala Harris gave Mike Pence that black mother look and said, "I'm talking now." I thought of that when Donald Trump called Kamala Harris a monster after the debate. I thought of that when I saw news stories that reduced our first black female police commissioner to nail polish. I think of it almost every day because the truth is Hillary Clinton would probably be president right now if she wasn't a woman. Oh, sure, there's lots of other reasons that she lost, don't get me wrong, but being a woman didn't help. And that's a shame because if Hillary was president, we wouldn't be in this mess. First of all, she wouldn't be on Twitter all day long. Second, if there was a virus, guess what? She would tell us to wear our masks, just like Gretchen Whitmer tried to do as governor of Michigan. And because she showed leadership, Donald Trump criticized her, and this summer, heavily armed protesters tried to take over the state house. When that didn't work, they fell back and started plotting to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Here's the point. The hate we see in America is about more than race. It's also about gender. So on November 3rd, white women in particular have a choice to make. To paraphrase Martin Luther King, we can vote together as brothers and sisters, or we can perish together as fools. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. When I saw this story about Gretchen Whitmer, and these fools talking about they going to kidnap her, first of all, they said they're going to storm the Capitol building and take hostages, including Whitmer. Well, if you knew anything about the government in Michigan, you would know her office is in the building across the street, not that building. That's number one. You're dumb, right? But then the other thing is that I'm watching the fact that they really are angry with her because she's using her power to try to protect the people of Michigan. Now, most of the people in Michigan agree that there need to be some restrictions in order to protect people from this killer virus. And so that's what the governor's trying to do, but they don't like having this woman in power. And so you have Donald Trump criticizing her in a very visceral and personal way from the top. And then you have the state legislature in Michigan, which is, you know, you have your Republicans there. And they're criticizing her and suing her and calling her a traitor and mingling with these terrorists who are calling themselves protesters. And so you have political figures really pushing this hatred against this woman. And what I see is misogyny. What I see is hatred for this woman having this position. How dare you have this position and try to use your power in order to protect the people? I see resentment. That's what I see. And, you know, I had people call here and tell me when Hillary Clinton was running, oh, a woman shouldn't be in charge. And, you know, that cracks me up, especially coming from people in our community. You was raised by a single mother. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at this stuff. And I'm hearing some of this stuff, and it's like, yo, we need to really come into the 21st century. For real. And then I see him calling Kamala Harris a monster, which is an attack not just on a woman, but on a woman of color. Are we really going to let him treat all women like that, too? Like, you know, I'm watching, you know, Danielle Outlaw come here as police commissioner, and one of the first stories I see is about her nail polish. What? She the police commissioner. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm looking at the way that these women who are in these positions of authority are being treated, and I'm like, hold up. This is not just about you disagreeing with their policies. This is about you thinking that they don't belong in charge. Now, I say all that to say this as well. That even with all of that, even with all of the accusations against Donald Trump about, even with us having him on tape talking about basically sexually assaulting women and thinking he can do that because he's a celebrity, even with all of those things that we had, 53% of white women who voted still voted for Donald Trump. Y'all got a choice to make. Y'all have to decide, is this something that you are going to support, or are you going to stand up for who you are? Is your whiteness more important, or is the fact that you're a woman and you see how they're treating these women, is that more important? I just want to ask the question. And I'm asking it as an outsider looking in, because I have no idea what it's like to be a woman. I don't. Right? And so when I see all of this, like, are y'all really going to support that? For real? I want to know. Give me a call. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. This is the craziest thing I've heard yet, Kawesa. This is something off of TV. Like, they think they on some kind of TV show. They think it's, you know what I mean? This ain't no TV show. It's not a video game. This is not Grand Theft Auto. What are you talking about? You going to kidnap the governor and don't even know where her office at. You staking out her vacation home. Y'all is crazy. Meeting publicly, talking about it. That's how they found y'all. You on social media. Then let's have a big meeting. Who do you think is in the meeting? The cops in the meeting, fool. Like, what are y'all it's just so stupid. But this is where we are. And the reason why it's dangerous is because these people really believe this stuff. And they're heavily armed. And a lot of them don't have anything else going for them. You know, so what holds you back from doing just the craziest thing that you can do when everything else in your life has not been successful? When nothing else in your life is something that you have to live for. It's dangerous. And so I want to hear from you. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is the craziest thing yet, Kawesa. They talk about we gonna kidnap the governor. Is it? Lord have mercy.
You know, it's funny. It's scary and it's serious, but it's just so funny because, you know, and this is how I feel about our president too. I think he's an idiot in chief. That's how I feel, you know, and you know, here he is with his minions who are just as equally as much of idiots as he is, and they're just, you know, doing all this dumb stuff. And I'm just like, really? Like every crime drama that you've watched should have told you that you weren't handling this the right way. Like, so I don't get it. I don't understand how you could be so dumb and so there's no words. I keep saying that today. There's no word because I'm just, it's shocking. I keep thinking that there's not something else that's going to shock me. Right. And then surprise, just stuff keeps popping up. And I'm just like, what? People are nuts, man.
Yeah, they really are. And so, you know, I mean, this is just something that we need to be aware of. It's something that we need to be watching. And it's something that we really, you know, need to work together on. I think that what this has shown me is that we really do have interests that intersect. You know, this treatment of women, and this has been an ongoing theme with Donald Trump, with his followers, with these state legislatures that are dominated by Republicans, white men in particular. You know, are we really going to act like we don't have some of the same interests around these issues, around this treatment, around this leadership, around these attitudes that, you know, are killing black and brown people, that are abusing white women and black women? Are we really going to act like we don't have some things in common, that we don't have some interests that intersect? This is horrible, man. This is, you know, this is the kind of stuff that you see on TV. And it don't even end well on TV. So it's like, what are you doing? 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Of course, also talking about Daniel Cameron and the case of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. But there's something else I want to talk about today, Kawesa, because last night a little song came in my head. and it was the jingle. You're not going to remember this, from Apple Jacks.
They had a jingle?
It was the Apple Jacks jingle. Came in my head, right? Back in the day, you remembered stores and products and all of these things based on jingles. I'm not asking y'all to sing them, please. Please. But I want to hear, well, if you want to, but I'll, don't make that face. All right, so what are the jingles that you remember that really are still in your head 20, 30, 40 years later? The best jingles. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
The pandemic is not only putting everyone's health at risk, it's also impacted our jobs and retirement security. And it's disproportionately affecting African Americans, especially those 50 plus. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is fighting for your voice to be heard. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time to learn about your voting options and cast your ballot. We're working to make sure you can vote safely, whether you choose to vote from home or in person. And if you choose to vote by mail, make sure you return your ballot using both envelopes. Your ballot goes in the smaller envelope for secrecy, and that goes into the larger envelope for mailing. Also, don't forget to sign the voter declaration on the back. Your voice matters. Make sure it's heard. Go to aarp.org/PA votes to learn about your voting options and how to vote safely this election. Visit aarp.org/PA votes today. Paid for by AARP.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
WURD Radio presents the following information to help you navigate the upcoming election.
This is Charles Ellison, host of Reality Check on WURD. So with all this talk about vote by mail, you're probably wondering, will my ballot be counted? No worries. 40 states, including Pennsylvania, are tracking mail-in ballots. Simply go to votespa.com and click on Mail-in and Absentee Ballot to find out if your ballot was received. Or go more directly to pavoterservices.pa.gov and click on Election Ballot Status to enter your name, birth date, and county. Keep following us at onWURD on Twitter, facebook.com/4word, and #WordOnPolitics for constant updates on election 2020. And remember, vote early.
Stay informed and vote. For more from Charles Ellison, tune in Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or visit wordradio.com.
Did you get an eviction notice before the shutdown? Are you looking for a lawyer once the moratorium ends? There's so many questions with so little time. Let Equally Informed Philly find the answers for you. Just text the phrase Equal Info to the number 73224. Again, that's Equal Info, one word, to 73224. Their community information line will get the answers you need to survive in the time of COVID-19. Equally Informed Philly for all Philadelphians.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Volume getting a bit heavy on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound from University Avenue through 30th Street. Pretty jammed up there through that work zone eastbound side. Still not too bad. Just like Montgomery through Girard. Line Expressway westbound, Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. 95 southbound. That's a jam. Cotman, Macon Academy down through Bridge. You're jammed up there through that construction area. Also, an accident being reported in that work zone. Further south, a little slow. Allegheny down through Girard, northbound 95. No major problems. Vine Expressway through Center City again, not too bad. 42 northbound, 55 through 295, bit slow. 55 northbound, Deptford into 42, busy. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. All at amazing prices this week at 20% off copies and prints for school-like posters, worksheets, and schedules. Visit staples.com/school printing for coupon in-store only. Offer ends 10/31. Exclusions apply. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. So the latest is that there was a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I wish I was making this up, but 13 men have been arrested, 7 on state charges, 6 on federal charges, stemming from their plot to try to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and try her for treason, I guess, in a cave somewhere in Michigan. I mean, it's bizarre. This is where we are, though. And really, you know, Donald Trump has created this atmosphere. Certainly, you always had fringe groups. You always had right-wing groups. You always had these militias training in the woods and having these secret meetings and all of this stuff. This stuff was there, but now it has come to the surface because now they feel like it's okay to do these things and to have these plots and to have these schemes, and it is absolutely insane. So I want to hear from you about that. Also, the news that President Donald Trump called Senator Kamala Harris a monster twice during an interview Thursday, the morning after she made history as the first black and Asian American woman to participate in a vice presidential debate. I think that is important for us to know. I think it's important for us to understand the attitude toward this sister. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, what? You called her what? And you know, these are the same types of things that they did to Michelle Obama. They would draw pictures of her as an ape. They would act like she was this revolutionary, right? They would act like she was this angry black woman. And it was insulting, and it was demeaning, and it was constant. And so these are the same types of tropes that you see Donald Trump trying to pull out on Kamala Harris when we find out that, wait, this woman was a former DA in San Francisco. She was former attorney general in California. She is a U.S. senator, sits on the Intelligence Committee. Like, she's more qualified for the job than Donald Trump is. Real talk. You know what I mean? And so we have to demean her. We have to belittle her. We have to call her a monster. I want to know what you think about that as well, because to me, all of this ties together. All of it. To the treatment of women and women of color in particular. You would never hear nobody talking about they going kidnapped a man who's the governor. For real, because y'all, you know, and here's one of the things that kind of bothers me about the state of media now. If you watch television and you watch these crime dramas, the victims are overwhelmingly women, right? And so these guys are watching this stuff, and I guess they fantasizing in their head, oh, I know, we're going to grab the head woman. We're going to grab Gretchen Whitmer. Like, you know, this stuff is crazy, man. It's crazy. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. And, of course, we can't talk about the head woman without talking about the head sellout, Daniel Cameron, who sold us out in Kentucky and now is trying to hide all of the documents from the grand jury. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. And, of course, Kawesa, it came to my mind decades later, the jingle from Applejack's. Now, I know you found it. I know you found. Did you find it?
I did.
Okay.
Do I have to?
You do. You do. I mean, these things, I'm telling you, these things stay in your head decades later, and it popped in my head last night. Let's hear the jingle from Applejack's.
Lots of punch in every Applejack cereal from Kellogg's, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Applejack, Applejack, apple flavor, that's what packs. Cinnamon toasty, apple tasty, Kellogg's Applejack.
All right. I didn't know it was that long. And plus, I had the words wrong. But I remember the tune. It's in my head. That's when advertising was really based on this. They would do a quick song, and it would stay in your head. And, all Applejacks was sugar and food coloring, and it wasn't good for you. But you remembered the song. And you had that for all kinds of products. What are the products that you remember based on these jingles? I want to hear from you about that, too. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Kwesi, you don't know nothing about that, do you?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I don't remember them having.
I'm getting older. I'm getting older. But these are the things that I remember. Coke had one. All of the cereals had one. Cereals had a lot of jingles, right? These quick little songs that you kind of remembered. And it's funny because I was in a meeting at my church, and my pastor bust out and started singing one of these jingles, but it was for a store, not for and you would only know it if you was from Philadelphia. Because one of our staff is from Pittsburgh, and he's like, "What you talking about?" Yeah, well, you didn't grow up in Philadelphia, so you don't know that jingle. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we're talking about on this morning show. Malik from Mount Airy's on line 1. Go ahead, Malik.
All right, I'm going to get the fun out the way. Nothing could be finer than the case of Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Then, now, let's deal with Coon Cameron. I mean, you already know, he might as well show you that he got, a white, all-white robe with an all-white hood somewhere in his closet that he supports. Now, that being said, what I'm looking for, and this is, I'm not accusing Kamala Harris, but if that was a black man, first thing I could see a black man, I hear in my head, yo, hold on, time out. I don't care who he is. He's talking about my wife, man. Yo, he gonna have to chill with that real fast. We're gonna have a problem. And that's just a black man defending his woman. And now you keep talking, Donald. Guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a bunch of, as you say, angry black women voting against you.
Yeah.
So be careful. But you know what? Then again, keep talking. We need you to do it because obviously you don't want to be there no more anyway. Y'all have a great day.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Laverne from East Oak Lane on line 2. Go ahead, Laverne.
Good morning, Solomon. I think this is like my second time ever calling the show.
Okay.
But I love your show.
Thank you.
So informative.
Thank you.
So I don't know if this is a product per se, but 2 off beef patty special sauce, cheese, with onions on a sesame seed bun.
Come on now. Yeah, and you had to know that. Everybody knew that one. Big Mac. That's right.
I mean, they used to have a contest in these radio stations where you had to say it really fast.
Yep.
And you would win stuff. So I was like, oh, wow, he took me back there. But I wanted to also comment about the governor.
Yeah.
If that had been 13 African-American men plotting to kidnap this white woman on top of her being a governor, there's no way they would have been able to show their face without them being beaten, bruised, and half alive. These people are, taken into custody. I'm so glad that they did, cancel the plot and, and captured them. But it still always goes back to race.
Yeah.
It always goes back to race because they're going to be treated fairly and have a trial and all that.
Yeah.
But if it was the opposite way around, it would be horrible. And my last comment is that I remember when Michelle Obama and Barack had gotten out of office, And someone wrote, I'm glad that she's no longer First Lady because I was tired of seeing a monkey in heels.
Mm-hmm.
And that just stuck in me, and I just thought, you know, this woman was gracious, beautiful, intelligent, and they never looked like they chose any color. They just saw people. And yet someone of a different race can't even be gracious enough to say, you know, it was nice having, you know, an intelligent family in the White House.
Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to what we have now. Who ever heard of Be Best? Be Best what? It's not even, it was just like something that they forced her to say that, hey, you got to have some kind of program or some kind of slogan or some kind of something. And so all she can come up with is Be Best.
Yeah, that's crazy. I hear you, and I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. And we're going to go back to the phone lines, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Roshana from North Philly is on line 3. Good morning.
Good morning. I love this subject about the jingles and everything, but theme shows like ABC News.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of time. Move closer to your world, my friend, and you'll see. I just love that song.
Bill Jolly wrote that.
I just had to come in and say that.
I love it.
I watch ABC all the time, you know, but that jingle is so good. It wakes you up. Move closer to your world, my friend. Take a little. Yeah, you know. I just had to say that. All right, I'm gonna get off the line.
Love it. Thanks, Roshana. Appreciate that. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Sadie from Sharon Hill is on line 4. Go ahead, Sadie.
Yes, good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Kuwaisa. The little Alka-Seltzer guy.
Oh, yeah, dancing around.
Oh, what a relief it is. I used to love him. I used to be so excited when the commercial would come on. He was so cute.
Yep.
With his little hat in his body, he was like an Alka-Seltzer. Yeah, and I used to take a lot of Alka-Seltzer back in the day, so yeah, I remember him.
Okay. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. See, I knew you knew some of these jingles, Kuwaisa. Now, or is it coming back to you now?
Some of them are.
Okay.
Some of them are.
All right. Okay. Let's go to Jacob from Olney on line 1. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Hey, Solomon, I don't think you're going to remember this one, but it was a store called John Kohler, right?
Uh-huh.
And he used to say, John Kohler, John Kohler, John Kohler.
Oh, wow.
Corner of 8th and Arch in Philly, John Kohler. I
Wow.
don't know whether they sold furniture or clothes.
Yeah, right. You just remember the song.
Yeah, I just remember the song. I don't know what they were selling, but it was at the corner of 8th and Arch in Philly, John Kohler. Hey, look, that's probably where the roundhouse is now, ain't it?
Yeah.
Lord,
yes, 8th and Race.
Oh, right, yeah. So that's right in that area.
Yeah.
8th and Arch, right, Philly. But I don't know what they sold. I would have to look that up. I didn't have time to do that.
Okay.
I remember that jingle. But look, as far as the president calling Kamala a monster, you know, that's the pot calling the skillet black. Because, I mean, who is the real monster when you look at it? Now, a child would be able to point out who's more of a monster. So I don't know who he thinks he's fooling, and I know this. I know they white supremacists and everything, and, you know, they don't like black people, but they can't be that dumb, right? All right, thank you, man.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue our conversation right here on WURD.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
But they've got the experience.
I'm still in shock 3 or 4 years later that we're in this position now. Our democracy is at a pivotal point.
From the top, we don't trust our government. We see the trouble we're in economically. We've got 170,000 Americans dead, and yet this president will do anything he can to make it seem like things are better than they are.
I did more for the black community than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
It's our responsibility If we don't lead that effort to make things better, we can't ask other people to do it. There is no good reason not to vote.
Right, we need to have individuals that are in office like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They are our best shot to take us forward.
And that's what makes me incredibly hopeful, but we really do have to work for this thing.
To the thousands who did not vote, we need you to show up for our future and for our country.
You cannot sit on the sidelines. You got to get in the game.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Monday, October 12th from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. In recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day, EcoWord and WURD Radio will host an Environmental Justice Summit to explore topics at the intersection of Black and Indigenous rights, income, and the environment. This day-long multimedia, virtual, and on-air event will bring together artists, thought leaders, and environmental justice advocates for groundbreaking conversations about climate change, land reclamation, water quality, and how it all converges in the Philadelphia region and beyond. It's the EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Monday, October 12th from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook. Presented in partnership with Bartram's Garden and From the Source Reporting Collaborative. The EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit is sponsored by PICO and the Alliance for Watershed Education and supported by the Lenfest Institute and the William Penn Foundation.
Everyone's journey to their vote is different, but they all share the same first step. If you want your voice to be heard on Election Day this November 3rd, you must be registered to vote. It's easy, and there are lots of ways to register. You can do it in person, online, or by mail, but you have to do it by October 19th. To learn more about how to register and to make a plan to vote, visit PhiladelphiaVotes.com. However you want to vote, we'll help you find the way.
Want the latest in WURD swag?
Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about Black.
Talk Media.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Volume getting busy on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound side this morning. That's a heavy ride from University Avenue through 30th Street. Jammed up there through construction. Eastbound side, not bad. Westbound fine. Slow bend Franklin Parkway to the Schuylkill Expressway. Eastbound delays off 76 through Broad. Southbound 95. That's a jam from Academy down through Bridge through that work zone. Busy again. Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound side, no major issues. PA Turnpike, Blue Ridge 476. Boulevard Route 1 southbound, all looking good this morning. 55 northbound, that's a jam. Deptford in 42. Staples helps your business from office essentials to health essentials, all at amazing prices. This week at $15 off posters or yard signs when you spend $75 or more. Ends 10/31. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 per customer. See store or staples.com/signage for details. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. We are, of course, taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. If you are just joining us, 13 men have been arrested on federal or state charges in connection with trying to kidnap the governor of Michigan, at least plotting to do it. And, you know, it's crazy because, you know, they're on social media. And so that's how they really came to the attention of authorities. And then they have big meetings, and they got all kind of people that they talking to, and just trusting people they don't know. And just, just kind of dumb with the way that they were trying to put this thing together. They're doing surveillance on the governor's vacation home, which is scary, right? And plotting to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Now, when I look at this, I see a lot of really anti-female sentiment kind of locked up in this, right? Where you've got these guys who really resent this woman being in charge and wielding her power to try to protect the people of the state. And really a lot of it coming from Donald Trump, who targeted her for very pointed and very personal criticism around trying to get people to wear masks so they wouldn't get COVID like him, right? And so, they started out in the spring. They come to the Capitol armed to the teeth, which was a spectacle in itself to see. And then you have the Republican state legislature there in Michigan also fueling the fire against Gretchen Whitmer. And so finally, these men come up with this plot. And thankfully, federal agents, informants were able to take it down. But just think about it. You plotting and scheming to kidnap the governor. What do you think this is, 24? You think this is some kind of, you know what I mean? What do you think this is? This real life. But this is where we are now. And so I want to hear what you think about that. Also, in keeping with that same theme, the president called Kamala Harris a monster twice. After she participated in the vice presidential debate, it was a historical moment to have this woman who is black, right, who also has South Asian heritage as well, her mother from India. And, he's calling her a monster. And my thing is this, keep talking. Because what you are really encouraging people who might not otherwise care, who might not otherwise vote, to be like, hold up, dog, you talking about me. You talking about my mother. You talking about my wife. You talking about my sister. You're talking about our people. What do you mean, monster? And so I want to hear from you about that as well. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. But something came to me yesterday, Kawesa. It was the jingle for Applejack cereal. And, this is like it's a few decades, right, since I was a kid and first heard that jingle. But it's funny how these things kind of stick in your head, not just for the moment, but for life. And so some of you have called, and I want to hear from you, your jingles that you still remember from back in the day. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go to the phone lines, and let's get our next caller. It is Derek from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Derek.
Good morning, Brother Solomon. Love, peace, blessings, and prosperity.
Same to you.
Thank you. Solomon, my favorite, or one of them at least, jingle is the Coca-Cola jingle. I like to teach the world to sing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Solomon, that one has stuck with me all my life. It has influenced me. This is how probably I came up with love, peace, blessings, and prosperity, because I often had imagined, what would the world truly be like if everyone were in harmony? Yeah. And it sort of motivated the person that I am today. So I'm thankful for that jingle.
Wow.
The other one I loved so much was Good and Plenty. Good and Plenty. Good and Charlie says, love my good and plenty. I loved that one too.
Okay.
But Coca-Cola, it made love, peace, blessings, and prosperity to me.
Wow. I love it. Thanks, Derek. We appreciate that, man. And thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Yeah, that was a good one. I forgot about that one because Coke has another one, too. It's a shorter one. But that was a good one. And I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Gloria from Sharon Hill on line 3. Go ahead, Gloria.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Grace and Word family. Good morning. Good morning. And Solomon, enjoy your weekend, okay?
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah, I remember a whole lot of jingles. Chock full of nuts, heavenly coffee. I remember the one from Cracker Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, and Strawbridge and Clothier. I'm going over to Strawbridge and Clothier's Clothier Day again. That's another one.
Okay. All right. I see you. All right. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Debbie from. Okay, let's go to Miss E from Wyncote on line 1. Go ahead, Miss E.
Hey, good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Well, Gloria took my Strawbridge and Clothier because I used to work there, but I worked at Sears as well, and they had a jingle. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot it. All the things you wanted, you didn't get for Christmas are on sale now at Sears.
Oh, yeah.
And also, on those white supremacists, what they need to be is sentence each one of them in the elevator with Beyonce's sister. How about that?
So, yeah, man, she punched you in your face.
That's a terrible fate. They'll never forget that one. Okay, have a good weekend.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your call this morning on WRD. All right, now let's go to Debbie from Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Debbie. Is Debbie gone? Okay, let's go to Kenny from Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, Solomon, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I listen to you every morning, but
Thank
I got a jingle that I ain't heard nobody say.
Okay.
My baloney has a first name, O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why I say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Yup.
Remember that?
Yeah, man, that's the main one.
Hey man, y'all have a good day. 'Cause you know all that negative stuff with them wanting to kidnap the governor. Come on, you got to you come on.
I know.
Don't even feed into that, man. God got him.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you have a good day.
Thank you, man. You too, and I appreciate your call this morning on WR. I don't know how we got so deep into this without getting to the Oscar Mayer baloney joint. That's like the main one. So I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Lavita says she has one. She not calling. She want us to call her. So we're going to do that and see what my wife has. But I'm going to go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Daniel from Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Solomon.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say thank you for putting out the information on the satellite voting thing. Me and my daughter is going to vote tomorrow.
Excellent.
Thanks to you.
Excellent.
So that was huge.
Thank you.
And I'm going to see if you can remember this one. My buddy, wherever he goes, I goes, my buddy.
Yup.
My buddy and me.
I do remember that. So thanks for sharing it, and thanks for going out to vote. And remember, those satellite locations are, of course, there's 7 of them around the city. The 2 ones that I remember most are the Leah Corris Center on Broad Street, and, of course, City Hall. You can go to City Hall. Washington High School is also one of them, and there are several more around the city. You can go to phillyvotes.com to get all of that information. So, Daniel, I'm glad that was useful to you. Let's go to Joyce from Winfield on line 2. Go ahead, Joyce.
Hey, everybody. Let me quickly sing it. If you got a passion for fashion.
That's the one.
If you got a craving for savings, take the wheel of the automobile and swing on down to Ideal.
Yup.
That's on in the 70s.
That's the one. Now, did you ever go to the store?
Never.
Me either.
Not my mama. Not my mama. No way.
I never went, but, I remember that jingle. You know, and you had to be from Philly to remember that. So thank you so much for that one. All right. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Stephen from Fern Rock on line 3. Go ahead, Stephen.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Quaid. Hey, Solomon, you remember this one? Come up to the cool taste, the coolest taste in every cigarette.
I don't remember that one.
Wow, Solomon, that's the old cool commercial.
Okay.
Cool cigarette.
Okay. See, they started banning cigarette commercials when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I might have been a little too young to remember that one.
Yeah, I'm 65.
Okay. Okay. All right, man. Thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Frank from North Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Frank.
Salmi, I enjoy your program very much.
Thank you.
And the store, John Cola, I got 6 in my house. I got them right now. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And I mailed my vote yesterday. Mail and vote.
That's great. That's great, Frank. Thank you so much, man. We need you to do that, and we appreciate that. And I thank you for your call, and thank you so much for listening.
And the jingle, remember, to look right, say right by Gillette Raise.
I don't remember the Gillette jingle. We're going to have to look that one up. We might have to play it. Frank, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Tyrone from South Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Solomon, you at it again. I did receive my mail-in ballot yesterday.
Excellent.
I'm going to fill it out, but I'm going to drop it off at the election office in person where I'll vote at. Then I'm going to vote.
Okay. Love it.
Okay. Now, Solomon, the couple that I have is nobody bakes a cake as tasty as a tasty cake.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's a good one.
And the other one is Maxwell House Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Good to the last drop.
Good to the last drop, Maxwell House. Yup. Love it, man. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. So we do have fresh information on these voting locations thanks to City Commissioner Lisa Daly, who just texted me this information. So here are the satellite locations where you can drop off your mail-in ballots, or if you're not registered, you can go there, you can register, you can get your mail-in ballot, fill it out, and turn it in right there. It's one-stop shopping. So here are the 9 locations now. City Hall, room 140, that's 1400 JFK Boulevard. George Washington High School at 10175 Bustleton Avenue. The Leah Chorus Center at 1776 North Broad Street. Roxborough High School at 6498 Ridge Avenue. Tilden Middle School at 6601 Elmwood Avenue. Julia DeBurgo's Elementary School at 401 West Lehigh Avenue. Overbrook Elementary School at 2032 North 62nd Street. Creative and Performing Arts at 901 South Broad Street. And now the AB Day School, that's going to open on Tuesday at 6324 Crittenden Street. You've got 9 locations around the city where you can vote early using your mail-in ballot. Or if you don't have the ballot, you can go there. If you're not registered, you can go there. It's one-stop shopping, and you can get it all done in one spot. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue this show right here on WURD.
The time is now to put an end to the chronic incompetence of Donald Trump and his League of Liars. Donald Trump makes a mockery of the institution of the presidency. He's polarized our country, and his dangerous policies must not continue. Joe Biden has the character, empathy, and experience to lead us through these challenging times. He helped lead the nation out of the 2008 financial crisis into the longest period of economic growth in our history, and he can do it again. As president, he will heal divisions and unite us around the shared values of justice. He'll create opportunities for quality education and good-paying jobs, and he'll build on the Affordable Care Act, not tear it down. While Donald Trump thinks coronavirus and climate change are a hoax, Joe Biden already has a coronavirus recovery plan and a strategy to create more jobs while also tackling the climate crisis. Vote for a president who will stand on the right side of history. Vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Paid for by Black PAC and Priorities USA Action. BlackPAC.com and PrioritiesUSAAction.org, which are responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
To African Americans, what do you have to lose?
More than we could have ever imagined. Trump's policies make black people less safe, and his downplaying of coronavirus cost black lives. It's time to elect someone who cares about us. Joe Biden. Joe will fight racism and injustice everywhere. He'll expand Obamacare and rebuild our economy so it works for all of us. Request a ballot now. Make a plan to vote. Our lives depend on it.
Paid for by Ask Me People, which is responsible for the content of this ad. AskMePeople.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Catch Sincerely Sarita
at her new time,
Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Beginning Tuesday, October 13th.
Followed by the Reverend Al Sharpton. Sincerely Sarita
at her new time, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the mattress man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey.
Work, 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 work. You see me, I be work.
Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Volume getting busy on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound side this morning. That's a heavy ride from University Avenue through 30th Street, jammed up there through construction. Eastbound side, not bad. Westbound fine. Slow bend Franklin Parkway to the Schuylkill Expressway. Eastbound delays off 76 through Broad. Southbound 95. That's a jam from Academy down through Bridge through that work zone. Busy again. Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound side, no major issues. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476. Boulevard Route 1 southbound, all looking good this morning. 55 northbound, that's a jam. Deptford in 42. Staples helps your business from office essentials to health essentials, all at amazing prices. This week at $15 off posters or yard signs when you spend $75 or more. Ends 10/31. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 per customer. See store or staples.com/signage for details. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. We're talking about a number of things this morning, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, the president called Kamala Harris a monster after she made history as the first black and Asian American woman to participate in a vice presidential debate. Story number 2, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a motion Wednesday attempting to bar an unidentified grand juror from speaking publicly about indictment proceedings in the Breonna Taylor case. And story number 3, they have arrested 13 men on state or federal charges for plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. This is absolutely insane. It's like something off a TV show or a video game. Like, who does that? So this is where we are, though. And this is why we all have to vote. And we have to really figure out where our interests intersect. Because you have these people who are against anybody who's not like them and resent people who aren't like them being in charge. And I just think that we have to be bigger than that. We have to be better than that. In order for us to move forward as a country. We're holding ourselves back by trying to hold each other back. We got to stop that. And so I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. And, of course, this came to me last night, Kuwait. So when the Applejack song jumped in my head last night, I'm talking about decades after I first heard it, and I realized we've got these jingles that we remember from childhood, like these jingles that stick with us forever. And you pointed out that there's at least one company that has a jingle now, right?
Yeah. Do I have to do it?
You don't have to do it.
I can do it. No, but no, like, okay, so I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call JG Whitmer 877 cash now. Okay, that one sticks with you. And they do opera style.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they got the dude that busting like 877 cash now.
877 cash now. I'm like, what are you? But now I know.
Yeah.
I have a structured settlement. I need cash.
Even though you don't really, what is a structured settlement? We got to look that up.
Hey, JG, I'll come to you.
215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation. Your favorite jingles. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go back to the phone lines and get Diane from South Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Diane.
Solomon, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? I'm glad my brother-in-law called in because he was a dedicated Tasty Cake employee for, it might be over 25 years because he's retired now. Yes, that's why he knew the jingle.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one for us black sisters.
Uh-huh.
I can buy the bacon and put it in. I'm a woman.
Anjali.
WOMAN. Say it again. And after we do the bacon, we're going to say, uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
Yup.
Solomon, thank you for bringing harmony this morning because we need that.
Yeah,
the trials and tribulations we're going through, you put the black icing on the cake. And Sugar Lady said, hey.
Tell Sugar Lady I said, hey, I appreciate her. And thank you so much for your call this morning on W. You too. You too, Diane. Thank you so much. Let's go to Steve from North Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Nobody beat me to it, and I know you couldn't possibly forget Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid tastes great. Too late, Kool-Aid. Can't wait.
Love it, man. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
All right, brother. Have a good day. Let's go to Mary from Olney on line 1. Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, mine is Crest. It's an effective dentifrice when used in a conscientiously applied program for oral hygiene or regular use.
She remember. Wait, that's the
preventive care. All right.
All right.
On the line.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. She remembered a whole joint. All right. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. So some of y'all are texting me your jingles. Commissioner Lisa Daly texted me one that I remember, so I'm going to have to sing it for her. And it's a simple one. I am stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me. You remember that? Back in the day?
Yeah. That was a good jingle.
That was a really good jingle. Real simple, real short. You know what I mean? 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Of course, we're talking about the craziness. They done talked about trying to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and try her for treason. Where y'all gonna try her at? Like, it seemed like they living on a TV show. Like, what are you talking about? You gonna kidnap the governor? And serious about it. So you got 13 people arrested, 7 on state charges, 6 on federal charges in connection with that. We have to do better. We have to get better as a country. We have to heal because we are in a position where you have people who are unstable, really kind of rising to the top and being led by the president with this foolishness. And it's got to stop. It's got to change. We need stability in this country. I mean, we really do, because you cannot continue like this. I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. Let's go to Tracy from Southwest on line 3. Go ahead, Tracy.
Oh, yes. Good morning,
Good morning.
Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wanted to encourage people to go out and vote. As for myself, it's a humanitarian moment for me to go out and vote, and I will be voting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as far as the jingle is concerned,
yes.
I'm going to say, good.
Oh, yeah. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. I know they are giving it to us on Facebook. I know there's a whole lot of comments. So what are people saying this morning on Facebook? Of course, you can weigh in at 4WURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. That is where you can weigh in on Facebook.
So there's a few comments here. Nikki Carter says, this brings back so many memories. This was in my young years when you sat in front of the TV to make your Christmas list, knowing you're only getting a couple things off that list. Very true. Gail Robinson, good morning to you, and also good morning to Geraldine. Gloria Gainey, good morning to you also. Someone else said CLPE, I'm not sure who that is. California Raisin commercial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do vaguely. It's very far back there in the pillars of my brain, but I do vaguely remember the California Raisin commercial. Atia Hicks saying, "Go Kawesa and Solomon." She's laughing because we over here trying to sing. Cheryl Brown, good morning to you also. And then I did see a couple others, and I screenshotted them, so I'm trying to go to them real quickly. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. No. Quite a few folks saying good morning to us. Gerald Hines, good morning. Ayatunde Garrett, good morning to you also. And then we also have Atia Hicks saying good morning to us. And someone said, Rosh Hashanah Barnes says, good morning. I get, the sensation of a peppermint patty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that. And then Atia Hicks is also saying, now starting to remember some of these old jingles. And then Malik Stewart is saying, all I will say about that is they found a way to capture heavily armed men plotting to kidnap a sitting governor without a shot being fired. Yet an unarmed man of color is a threat to be killed. Very true. And then Iris Brunson, I do not remember this, but I think somebody maybe started to sing this earlier, but she says, good and plenty. Once upon a time, there was an engineer. Engine Charlie was his name we hear. We had an engine, and he sure had fun. He used good and plenty candy to make the train run. So that's one as well. I've never heard that one, but yeah, that's awesome. And Nikki Carter is saying also, just good morning to everyone. We have some shenanigans to discuss. So, yep. So those are just a few of our comments there that we have.
There is a jingle that really launched the career of a singer and actor named Tyrese Gibson. Right? It was a jingle that started his career. I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number. You can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we're talking about this morning. Do we have it? We're going to find it. Let's go to Tracy from Southwest on line 3. Go ahead, Tracy. Okay, let's go to Debbie from South Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Debbie.
Hi, Solomon.
Hi.
This is my second time calling you.
Thank you.
You're great. I love your show.
Thank you.
God bless you and Kawesa.
God bless you,
I
too.
have two.
All right, let's have it.
Buster Brown shoes and see the USA in your Chevrolet.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Debbie. We appreciate your call, and keep on calling. We love hearing from you. Let's go to Philip from West Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Philip.
Good morning, family. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, yes. When I heard yesterday about the crazy plot to kidnap the governor to try her for treason, I was like, what?
I know.
I was like, is this real? I was thinking, wait, am I watching Walker, Texas Rangers?
No! They think it's a TV show. Like, they are, man.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it's crazy. And as far as Donald Trump calling Kamala Harris a monster, what do you expect? It shouldn't be surprising, you know.
Yeah.
But look, people really need to take this election seriously and get out there and vote.
That's right.
Because we can't continue, with having this kind of instability in the country.
Yeah.
Yes, as far as the jingles, okay, I have two. My first one is the theme song from the show 227, and the words that stick with me from that song is like, times are changing every day, and we're not going to get by with those same old things. That's always stuck with me. And then my other jingle is from the cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. And so there was a jingle that literally launched the career of a singer and actor named Tyrese Gibson. Let's take a listen. That's Tyrese on the bus singing. You remember that?
I love that commercial.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Tyrese. So
Man, absolutely.
great.
So we want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go to Sissy from South Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Sissy.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
I know there was several Armour hot dogs commercials, but my favorite was hot dogs, Armour hot dogs. What kind of kids eat Armour hot dogs? Fat kids, skinny kids, kids that have a bite, red kids, white kids, easy kids with big hungry hot dogs. What that was.
Oh, man, I love it, too, and I want to thank you for sharing it this morning on WURD. All right, so I'm telling you, there's a lot of these. And, you know, with all this craziness going on, man, y'all, why you talk about this stuff? Because, man, you got to balance it out because there's so much, I mean, just craziness, and if you allow yourself to be consumed by it, it can be worrying, it can be stressful. And, you know, sometimes you got to balance that out. And, you know, just thinking about the fact that you have people who are heavily armed actually thinking about kidnapping a sitting governor, right? It's, you know, it can be stressful. It can be stressful and it can be frightening and it can be worrying. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. But the fact is that is what they were plotting. That is what they were scheming. And the terrible thing about it is that we are in that kind of atmosphere because you have leadership that encourages that kind of thing. And we need change. We need stability. We don't need this craziness. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I want to hear your favorite jingles. Delaware Jackson from Newark, Delaware is online too. Go ahead, Delaware.
Hey, Brother Solomon. Good morning.
Good morning.
The jingle that I have, and thanks for balancing things out, by the way.
You're welcome, brother.
My jingle is, and I tuned in late, so I hope it wasn't already said, but
okay.
Row, row, rooter, that's the name, and away your troubles down the drain.
Nope, nobody said that.
Okay.
You are right. Roto Rooter, I forgot about that one. That's a good one. And thank you for sharing it this morning on WURD. Let's go to Marva from North Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Marva.
Boy, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. She doing the Big Mac. She doing the Big Mac one. Okay.
I got my free Big Mac.
All right, Marva. Thank you. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that. Let's go to Constance from West Oak Lane on line 4. Go ahead, Constance.
Good morning, Hal Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I'm glad you're doing this because we need it. I was in the store the other day and I saw a Slinky.
Took you back, didn't it?
I bought a Slinky. Everyone loves a Slinky. You ought to have a Slinky. Thanks, Solomon. Have a good day.
All right, Constance, thank you so much. And see, you know, those little toys, right? It takes you back. It takes you back to when you were kids and you know, to happier times, hopefully, for all of us. So we're going to go to break. On the other side, we got to talk about your money because it's Friday, it's payday. I'm tired of you messing up your paycheck. Financial advisor Akbar Hassan joins us on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
But they've got the experience.
I'm still in shock 3 or 4 years later that we're in this position now. Our democracy is at a pivotal point.
From the top, we don't trust our government. We see the trouble we're in economically. We've got 170,000 Americans dead, and yet this president will do anything he can to make it seem like things are better than they are.
I did more for the black community than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
It's our responsibility. If we don't lead that effort to make things better, we can't ask other people to do it. There is no good reason not to vote.
Right, we need to have individuals that are in office like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
They are our best shot to take us forward.
And that's what makes me incredibly hopeful, but we really do have to work for this thing.
To the thousands who did not vote, we need you to show up for our future and for our country.
You cannot sit on the sidelines. You got to get in the game.
Paid for by Biden for president.
If you're thinking of voting by mail this election, remember that it's safe, it's secure, and it counts. But there are a few things to keep in mind. While the application deadline is October 27th, you should apply now and send your ballot back as early as possible, before November 3rd. When it comes to sending it back, you can drop it in the mail, use a designated drop box, or return it to a satellite election office. To find one or for more information, visit PhiladelphiaVotes.com.
Smith Play John is a new kids TV show produced by Smith Memorial Playground. Tune in Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on Comcast, Verizon, or PhillyCam.org for at-home play breaks, music time, story time, and to share your John. Details at smithplayground.org.
The WURD Radio Newsletter. Keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report's sponsored by Allstate. Still not too bad here in Philadelphia. Just some heavy spots southbound 95. You're jammed up through the construction area. Cottman Avenue down through Bridge, through that work zone. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard, northbound side. That's a busy ride in the area of the Platte Bridge. Restrictions there. It's an accident on the ramp to the Platte Bridge. 291, so watch for delays there. Schuylkill Expressway, westbound, JAM University through 30th through construction. Busy against City out to Belmont. Eastbound Boulevard through Girard, heavy. Line Expressway, both ways beat in the area of Broad Street. That is a backup. 55 northbound, Deptford in the 42, slow 42 northbound 55 through 295, still a delay. If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance with Pay for Mile Insurance from Allstate. Pay for the miles you drive, save on the miles you don't. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote now. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan, only on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I'm going to welcome you back and welcome Akbar Hassan. He is a personal financial advisor counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy to understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm listening to all the jingles. And it's like a game show, man. Like I got my list. I said, well, just don't say this one until they get to me. I'm that was what I was gonna use. I got 2.
Okay.
I got one. All right. So Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pepper. You're a pepper.
Oh yeah.
That was before Little Sweet came on the scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now another one is a show. All right.
Uh-huh.
The Banana Splits.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Banana
I remember the Banana Splits.
Banana 4, Channel 48.
Yup. That's when you come home and watch the cartoons.
Channel 48.
That's right. That's right. Mm-mm-mm.
Those are I wanted Ideal. That was my number one.
That was Levita's too. So somebody took hers.
Yeah, man.
Take the wheel of your automobile and swing on down to Ideal. Yep.
Yeah, you know what? Next time you have one of these, I'm going to have to disguise my voice and call in earlier to get it in. Get my ticket.
That's right. That's right. That's right, because people going to steal yours. Absolutely. So
that's right.
Good memories, man. So, of course, it is Friday. It is payday for a whole lot of folk. We don't want people messing up their paycheck. And, Akbar, we appreciate you because you help us to be wise with our money. Now, we know that we got a question from one of our listeners. So what is our question this week?
So today's question is, I don't have much, but I have $5,000.
Okay.
What can I do to double it? I'm trying to make money for me and my family. I'm not trying to make a killing. I just want some direction. Very good question. People, they are trying to just maximize their income, maximize their money. I get it. Who doesn't want to double their money?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're waiting for me to tell you about some little-known investment where you can invest your money for a year or two and double it, or some quick, rich scheme, all right, to use a popular contraction, Solomon, since you're in English, it ain't going to happen, all right? But in fact, contraction is what you can expect if you do something with your money, like store into something like a quick, rich scheme, or something that requires no works. All right, and that's just a fact. So, what can you do? You got some money. You want to double your money. Let me start by saying there's nothing legally you can do to double your money. All right, overnight or within a year or whatever. Everything you do requires work and time. So let's run down some things you can do. First of all, as we all know, there's all sorts of side hustles, right? But with that money that you have, you can invest in materials or product, or if you're a techie, software, all right? Building cleanouts, I think we talked about a few weeks ago, building cleanouts are very big. Now you have money to hire a crew if you need it, or a truck, and do cleanouts, which are very popular right now. Baking or selling stuff, if that's what your skill set is, do that. So whatever your skill set is that you can offer someone, that's the first thing that you want to look at. Remember, it requires hard work and time to do that. Garage sales, all right? Garage sales, cleaning out the attic, that's very big. If you know someone who wants to have a garage sale, but they don't want to do it, maybe they'll give you a percentage of the profit if you have the sale for them. And additionally to that, let's say you, Solomon, want to have a garage sale, but you don't want to have it in front of your house. And maybe there's someone else's house in another neighborhood that's better suited. Remember, location is everything when it comes to these things. So maybe you ask a friend or family member, hey, can I sell my stuff in front of your house because you have better traffic and you have a better location for that, all right? That's something to consider. We're almost 2021, right? You can now do garage sales virtually. That's a big word now, virtually. So with sites like there's a site called OfferUp, all right, and another one called Poshmark, Poshmark. Those are sites where you can put your stuff online and sell it to people all over the world. But mainly the people you're marketing to or targeting are the people in your neighborhood or your immediate area, but you can market throughout the world. And you can also do the same thing in Facebook. So those are something to consider. If you are scholastic, there's a site where you can actually take notes in class and sell them.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a site called Study Soup. STUDYSOUP, Study Soup, where you can take notes. It's illegal, it's all legal, it's all legit. You can take notes in class, and people will pay you to read your notes. All right. So that's a pretty good thing there. Side jobs. We're entering the season of the holidays, and a lot of places are having or offering up temporary employment. We know UPS is, we know Amazon is, we know Target is, a lot of places. side jobs is a good way to maximize your income. Now, you're not using some of that, your $5,000 to do that, but it is a way to maximize your income at this time. Lastly, remember there's two sides. There's revenue and expenses. We've been talking about the revenue side, how to increase your income. Lastly, if you don't want to increase the top side, then reduce the bottom side, reduce your expenses. All right, and you don't have to do it for a huge amount of time, but just 6 months of cutting off. If you have all premium channels, maybe reduce the premium channels on your cable for 6 months. Go without. You'll be surprised how much money you're able to save and maximize your bank account by doing that. But the point is, there's no quick and easy way to do it. Quick and easy is how you bake a cake or paint by numbers. But quick and easy is not how you want to try to maximize your income. It takes time, it takes effort, and you put those two things together, you will increase your bank account.
All right. I love it. That, of course, is Akbar Hassan. Akbar Hassan is a personal financial advisor counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, where can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Twitter at AKHassanReal and email at akbar-hassan@comcast.net.
All right. Akbar, have a great weekend, man.
You too, Solomon.
All right. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Got a whole lot going on. And, of course, want to remind you that this Monday, October 12th, we'll have a special day-long EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day. We will explore topics at the intersection of Black and Indigenous rights, income, and the environment. It is a multimedia virtual event featuring a number of guests, including Majora Carter, Ridmita Coley, and so many more. Also, don't miss this special opportunity to join or renew your WURD membership today to receive your free copy of this month's Black Words Book Club selection, A Terrible Thing to Waste, Environmental Racism and Its Assault on the American Mind by Harriet A. Washington. Join or renew today at wordradio.com/4word. The EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit, produced in collaboration with Bartram's Garden and from the Source Reporting Collaborative, is supported by PICO, the Watershed Education Alliance, the Linfest Institute, and the William Penn Foundation. Be sure to tune in Monday starting at 10 a.m. to learn more. Visit wordradio.com. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065, or you can weigh in on Facebook at 4WURD. That's FORWURD. That's FORWURD. We are, of course, talking about our top stories, including your president calling Kamala Harris a monster and really, a racist, a sexist, just really insulting. Every time I think we can't sink lower, we do. Story number 2, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a motion Wednesday attempting to bar an unidentified grand juror from speaking publicly about indictment proceedings in the Breonna Taylor case. And, of course, story number 3, 13 people arrested on federal or state charges for plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. This is absolutely insane. So we want to hear from you about that. And, of course, we're talking about something else because something hit me last night. I don't know. I'm working on the show, and I'm kind of walking around in my house, and suddenly this jingle jumps into my head, the Apple Jacks jingle of all things. It's been decades since I first heard that jingle, and it made me think, maybe the listeners have some jingles that they just can't forget and have been walking around with for all of their lives. So I want to hear your favorite jingles today as well. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Now, Kawesa, I understand that you might have a couple of these jingles that just won't leave you alone.
It just came to me, one of them, Mentos and double mint gum. So, double your pleasure, double your fun. That's the statement of the great mint and double mint gum.
That's right.
I love that.
That's right. Love it. Love it. Okay, and we got another one. We're gonna save that. We're gonna save that one. We're gonna see what you guys come up with. But yeah, double mint. Double mint. That used to be my favorite gum, but now I'm kind of chewing another one. I like extra a little bit better. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go back to the phone lines. Of course, they are full. Sarah from North Philly is on line one. Go ahead, Sarah.
Good morning, King Solomon and Queen Kuwait.
Good morning.
Can't she?
Yep.
Don't believe the hype. Everything that's shiny is not gold. President Trump is pulling out all the stops. First with the coronavirus and now with the stimulus check. He said on CNN, when I become president, he is going to release the stimulus check. So what is he saying to the people? He is fickle, Solomon. Is he the head of the veteran hospital or have a huge amount of stock in that hospital? He can get the doctors to say anything. So
I know.
You know? Solomon, I wish I could get my son to speak to you. Last night I said, son, we have to get this dump out of the out of office, because he said, Mom, it don't matter if we vote or not. The electoral votes have the last say-so, and they can lie in our favor or not. I was done, Solomon. But my favorite jingle was, oh, what pop it is. Oh, what a relief it is. And nothing like a good laugh, Solomon.
That's right.
As Donald Trump calling Kamala Harris a monster, I would have looked him in his eyes and said, stick and stones may break my bones, but you chump, you can't touch it. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. And I want to talk about the Electoral College. So here's the thing, and people, I think, really misunderstand the Electoral College. I don't think we should have an Electoral College, but you know, this is the system we have and have always had, and it would take a constitutional amendment to change it. And so what we have to realize is this, that the presidential election is a state-by-state election, and it's not true that your votes don't matter. That is not true. It's inaccurate. The way that the Electoral College works is that it's based on the popular vote. So if Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania, he gets the electoral votes from Pennsylvania. If Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania, he gets the electoral votes from Pennsylvania. That's how it works. And it's a state-by-state election. The reason why some states have more of an influence than others is because, you know, most states, you know how they're going to vote. You know that Texas is going to be a Republican state. You know that Georgia is going to, well, Georgia's kind of changing a little bit, but you know that a state like Alabama or Tennessee, they're going to be Republican states. You know that California and New York are going to be Democrat states. And so there are a few states that could go either way. That's why Pennsylvania is so important. That's why Florida is so important. That's why Ohio is so important. That's why Wisconsin is so important. And so it really comes down to those few states, and who wins the popular vote in those states will win the electoral votes from those states. That's how it works. And so, you know, for people who are going around saying that your vote doesn't matter, it's decided in the Electoral College, no, that's not accurate. The electoral vote is decided by the popular vote. That's why your vote matters. It is a state-by-state election for the presidency. All right? That's the simplest way I can explain it. Let's go back to the phone lines and go to Rose from Winfield on line 2. Go ahead, Rose.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My jingle is not promoting anything, but it's one I think everybody heard when it was able to stand up in the crib. And it was, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And thank you for lightening our day, because it is sure enough a heavy world we're living in now.
Yeah, it really
but I wanted to say, I agree with you on all you were saying this morning about the governor and the assault on women, especially women rising to power and all. But behind this, you know, these groups always need a cause that they can attach themselves to, and Trump gave it to them when that woman, the governor, was trying to reopen her state, and he energized them to go after her. But I listened to the district attorney yesterday and several people former intelligence people, former FBI people and all. And they're saying that these groups that are rising up now, and in fact, the intelligence report came back saying that the greatest threat to America now is the white supremacists. And this group was after more than just her. Oh, yeah, they wanted her. They wanted to capture her, take her someplace on an island or somewhere where they could torture her and just do all kinds of things to her. But this district attorney also said their plans was to also get the police departments. They want to overthrow democracy. That's their main thrust.
All right. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We're going to go to break. And on the other side, got to talk about the issue of gun violence in Philadelphia and beyond. The city is looking at suing the state of Pennsylvania over the right to have our own gun laws in the city of Philadelphia. Councilwoman Cindy Bass joins us on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
It's the return of Nick Taliaferro. Catch Nick beginning Tuesday, October 13th. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Nick Taliaferro makes his return Tuesday, October 13th from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live at WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, kind of work people more than 8 hours without overtime, kind of work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Everyone's journey to their vote is different, but they all share the same first step. If you want your voice to be heard on Election Day this November 3rd, you must be registered to vote. It's easy, and there are lots of ways to register. You can do it in person, online, or by mail, but you have to do it by October 19th. To learn more about how to register and to make a plan to vote, visit PhiladelphiaVotes.com. However you want to vote, we'll help you find the way.
Tune in every Saturday at 6 p.m. to Recovery Talk 101 with your host, Rick Ford, talking about addiction, treatment, and recovery, right here on WURD Radio.
New Voices for Reproductive Justice is registering Black women and their families in Philly to vote. The general election is on November 3rd. You can register to vote online at rock.vote/New Voices. That's rock.vote/New Voices. The deadline to register is October 19th. If you need assistance registering to vote, visit newvoicesrj.org.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. So we're talking about a number of things this morning, including gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. And joining us now is Councilmember Cindy Bass. She serves the 8th District and joins us to talk about the city of Philadelphia suing the state to enact stronger gun control laws. Good morning, Councilwoman Bass. How are you?
Good morning, Solomon. How are you? How are you? And hello to all of your listening audience this morning.
Mm-hmm. So the gun violence, we are at a higher level of homicides than we've been since 2007. And so the importance of gun laws, again, you know, on the radar. So what is the city looking to do concerning the gun laws?
Well, the gun laws on the books in Harrisburg, as we know, just work against the city of Philadelphia and the problems that we face. They really don't speak to the city's problems, the ongoing gun violence that we've had. This is nothing new. The numbers are deeply disturbing that we're seeing right now. But we've been fighting gun violence for a long time in the city of Philadelphia. And I mean, you know this, and we've talked about it many, many times and what to do. And the state, the Commonwealth, has always really just stood in the way. And we're just saying, listen, get out the way. Get out the way. You know, you don't have to do anything. Let us control our destiny. Let us figure out what it is that we need to do here in the city of Philadelphia to take control of this problem and to save Black lives. Because that's really what's happening here. It's Black, it's brown, it's our lives. And one of the things that I said the other day, we did a press event over at Happy Hollow Playground where there's a lot of gun violence in Germantown. As you all know, there was a very disturbing event which took place yesterday, and we lost a young lady who was minding her own business, you know, traveling, and was the victim of a homicide. But one of the things that I really wanted to point out is, listen, for the folks who are in Harrisburg, the state reps, the state senators, that, you know, are outside of our area, because we have very strong support from our Philadelphia delegation. For those who are outside of the city and the suburban delegation that don't support what it is that we're trying to do, for whatever reason, if you think of them as Philadelphians, if you think of them, oh, it's just a Philly problem, well, you're, as a state rep, you are responsible to the entire Commonwealth.
Right.
And so that includes Philadelphia. And so think of these people as Pennsylvanians. These are Pennsylvanians who are losing their lives in the streets of a city in Pennsylvania. So if that, you know, small thing makes a difference and helps you to vote so that we can make a difference here in the city of Philadelphia, give us the responsibility back so that we can do something about our problem. Let us take control of it. And there's so much that can be done. You know, I spoke with a good friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about the numbers and why voting matters. I heard you say earlier about voting, and, you know, people say, oh, your vote doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Voting matters. Incredible. It's just incredibly important as we are really on the cusp of this election, this historic election, because we do have an opportunity to take over the Pennsylvania State House of Representatives. And that gives us a significant seat at the table to be able to do something about gun violence. And I just want folks to know that there are 20 seats in play, from my understanding, and that out of those 20, that we only need to pick up 9 out of 20 to be able to have a seat at the table, to be able to make this a conversation that really moves forward and moves Philadelphia forward.
And I think that is something that that really it needs to be talked about, what happens at the state level, because state law in most cases trumps county law. Philadelphia is a county and a city. And so that's what's been used to kind of stop Philadelphia from having its own gun laws. And, you know, we can have more power at the state level, you know, if people vote and if people understand, you know, how that works. You need that power at the state level in order to make things happen at the city level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, Solomon, there's some, you know, so folks have said, oh, you know, it's not going to make a difference. You're not going to be able to get anything done out of Harrisburg. Well, like I said, we are really on the cusp of being able to get some things done out of Harrisburg based on the fact that there's an election coming up, and this is a time when we have a great opportunity to join forces, to make things happen, to support those state representative candidates in suburban and rural districts that are really going to be able to step up and help us. But beyond what's happening in Harrisburg, I think that there are things that we need to do to help ourselves. You know, I'm a strong believer in self-governance and self-determining what our destiny is going to be. I don't believe we should be waiting on anybody sitting downtown that ain't like us, that don't think about us on a daily basis, and think that anybody else is coming to our rescue but us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so along those lines, I do want to say that there's a couple things that I thought about that we could all do to make a difference. And the first thing, I heard that you were talking about, you know, there was some conversation about jingles.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing jingles
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, right? So if you see a crime and you want to report it, what's the jingle to report it? How do
If you see
report?
something, say something.
If you see something, say something. But no, what's the number? Is the number in
911.
here? No, because 911 is emergency, right? So, and don't look it up. But if you see something and you want to say something, who do you call? Who do you talk to? There's a lot of folks who feel, for very valid reasons, they don't want to speak directly to the police. They have a great amount of concern for their safety.
Sure.
You know, if a detective comes, I had a detective came to their place of business, and of course, all eyes are on them.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking, everybody's talking, everybody's wondering, everybody's pointing the finger. And so if I see something and I want to say something, where do I go? Where do I get that information out? We need to really push out. If you see something, you want to say something, here's who you need to talk to. Here's what to do. Here's who to call. Because too many of our folks are sitting on information that could be used to get some killers, some real killers, off the street. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, as parents, as a mother, Solomon, I know you as a father, right? When your kids have something that you didn't buy, what's up with that, right? We couldn't do that back in the day. You have to run that room. We have to get in there. We have to take a look around. We have to lift up stuff, all this conversation of, you know, that's my room. No, that's my room, okay? I'm the parent. I'm in charge. Go in there. What's in that room? There was a case out of Montgomery County in Cheltenham, and I don't know, just a few weeks ago, I don't know if you remember this one, Solomon, where there was a group of teenagers in Cheltenham and also in Philadelphia who were purchasing guns, moving firearms, and right under the noses of their parents. Now, these kids likely had money in their pockets, might have had new shoes on their feet, might have had new jeans that they were wearing and clothing items. You know, you couldn't wear new clothes. You couldn't have nothing new. Listen, in my house, that my mother didn't purchase.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to know where it came from, what was the source, where'd you get it. We have to go back to some of these real basic fundamentals and look at where is this stuff coming from, how are our children getting access to these guns, how are they getting access to the new things that they're wearing and the things that we see them displaying. So that's something that we have to look at also. And beyond that, I think that it doesn't hurt any of us to do, as a parent, to do a self-imposed curfew. Now, like I said, we shouldn't be waiting for anybody downtown to put a curfew in our neighborhoods when we know stuff is going on. Bring your kids in. When it starts getting dark, listen, come on in the house. Because we know that the streets right now are really, really dangerous. So these are just some of the things that we've been talking about in my office. You know, we're going to put some more information out. Also, the installation of cameras, which we've been doing. And I think you're familiar with that, Solomon. We've been doing in the Germantown and Nicetown area and Tioga area, where we install cameras on the homes of our residents, particularly in high crime or high dumping areas. We've been putting cameras out. We're going to make a pledge to put even more out in the coming weeks. So you'll be hearing more about that as well.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because you said earlier, who do you call? So who do you call? You see something? What are the numbers? Who do people call?
Well, that's what we need to. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to get the information out.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, people don't know who to call. And what we need the city of Philadelphia to do, what we need the police department to do, what we need the district attorney's office to do, what we need the managing director's office to do, is to come up with a way, give us a jingle, give us a way that is easy to remember. Put it on out there. Who do you call when you see someone? Now, there was an Action News tip line, and I think some of the local news stations have different tip lines. But to the best of my knowledge and the best of my ability, I can't think of what the number is to the Philadelphia police tip line if you want to give information about a crime that you have seen. And so we need to make sure that people know what it is and that we put it out.
All right. Well, Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers does have a number. It's 1-800-4PA-TIPS. It's 1-800-4PA-TIPS. So we're going to put that out for folks, and that's, one place where you can start. So I hear you, and I think all of those are good ideas, and I think those are ideas we need to implement for ourselves. Councilwoman Cindy Bass, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you so much, Solomon.
You're welcome. So as Councilwoman Cindy Bass, she serves the 8th District. The city is suing to enact stronger gun laws. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show with Daryl Marius talking about what's happening on Zoom, right, with kids learning virtually, and maybe some protocols that need to be put in place to help you, to help your kids with that. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
The pandemic is not only putting everyone's health at risk, it's also impacted our jobs and retirement security. And it's disproportionately affecting African Americans, especially those 50 plus. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is fighting for your voice to be heard. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time to learn about your voting options and cast your ballot. We're working to make sure you can vote safely, whether you choose to vote from home or in person. And if you choose to vote by mail, make sure you return your ballot using both envelopes. Your ballot goes in the smaller envelope for secrecy, and that goes into the larger envelope for mailing. Also, don't forget to sign the voter declaration on the back. Your voice matters. Make sure it's heard. Go to aarp.org/PA votes to learn about your voting options and how to vote safely this election. Visit aarp.org/PA votes today. Paid for by AARP.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
If you're thinking of voting by mail this election, remember that it's safe, it's secure, and it counts. But there are a few things to keep in mind. While the application deadline is October 27th, you should apply now and send your ballot back as early as possible, before November 3rd. When it comes to sending it back, you can drop it in the mail, use a designated drop box, or return it to a satellite election office. To find one or for more information, visit PhiladelphiaVotes.com.
Fall is here. Beautiful autumn leaves, crisp air, and yes, the dreaded flu season. But Dedicated Senior Medical Center cares for the seniors of this community. On Saturday, October 10th, get your flu shot at Dedicated Senior Medical Center at their North Philadelphia location between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Don't wait. The last thing you want to do is get the flu. Do yourself a favor. Get to Dedicated Senior Medical Center in North Philadelphia, 2101 West Lehigh Avenue. You can get a free door prize and grab lunch, all while getting your flu shot. And don't worry, Dedicated Senior Medical Center is taking extra steps to keep you safe and healthy with masks and social distancing. So come get yourself and loved ones protected against the flu. Offer good while supplies last. Promotion is for a preventative care service. Participants' insurance will be billed at time of services. Limit 1 flu shot per person.
This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black.
Talk Media.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And joining us now is Darielle Marius. She is the Title I Culture and Climate Specialist at Cooser Elementary School in Hamilton, New Jersey. Ms. Marius, I want to thank you for I want to welcome you to WURD, and thanks for joining us.
How
you doing?
Invite.
Yep, you're welcome. So kids are learning online now. We're doing Zoom, they're home. There's all kind of stuff that's just different about the way our kids are learning now. And we're seeing some stuff that maybe we should not be seeing on these Zoom calls. And so what is the proper etiquette for students first? Let's talk about students first, and then let's talk about teachers when it comes to digital learning.
Okay, in regards to proper etiquette, obviously for teachers, what they would like to see from their students, they would like to see their faces. They would like to see their videos on for a couple of reasons. One, honestly and truly, is the fact that we miss the students. It's also for us to be able to see them and know that they are doing well and doing okay. So that's first and foremost. However, at the same time, we have to understand that everybody's household is not the same. And so we've had to tell teachers if the students are doing the work, even if their video may not be on, it could be for various reasons. It could be embarrassment for how the house looks. It's, various reasons. So, we had to let teachers know, don't take it as a sign of disrespect. Don't take it as a sign of being rude. But, reach out to the families and find out, why the video is not on. We do have those older students, that, turn their video off and walk away. They're not there. So, one, we would like the video on. Again, safety first, and to be able to see them and let them know that we miss them. Look into their eyes somewhat. We would like them, even if they are in a bedroom and on a bed, we would like them to be sitting up, not laying down. Again, understanding that not everybody has a desk in a bedroom or a quiet space per se. And having those allowances, we would like them properly dressed. And what I mean is, have a shirt on. I have two children myself and did a virtual back-to-school night for my fifth grader. So the teacher said, we've had some people show up to school, virtually with no shirt on. We need the boys to have a shirt on. And that's really, it's hard times for everybody. So we're really not attempting to stress them out. And I know some districts have required they have to, can't be in pajamas and this, that, and the other. Again, everybody's household situation is not the same. I am still en route to work. Why? Because I needed to make sure my children, were set up on, ready to go before I left the house. So it's a complicated situation for all of us.
Yeah, agreed. And so I think all of those are good things. And I think you make a good point about, there are a number of reasons why people
call a Get Spotted program for being respectful, responsible, and safe. So our assemblies, when we had them in school, were very well managed. The children were very well behaved. They know what to expect. So our teachers really dived into the digital world and put together some nice videos in regards to the things I've just briefly discussed about what to expect. And one of my friends who has her doctorate and she teaches social justice, she said, kudos to those teachers. She was like, Dario, great video. She said, but you can tell in the video that, you know, you still have to watch some of the language. Not everybody has a water bottle. You know, one of the teachers like, you know, have your water bottle by your laptop. You know, maybe they don't have a water bottle. So maybe, Dario, you just say water, you know. We don't know what form that water is going to be in. So just little things that, like you said, we take for granted.
So in terms of teacher etiquette, what are some of the things that you advise teachers to do when you're engaged in this online learning?
For the teachers, we're doing the same thing. So in my district, the teachers are in the building unless they have received approval of a medical 504. Our teachers are in the building. So they're teaching from their classrooms. They're dressed appropriately. They're on time. They're flexible. And, you know, it's the same rules that we have for the students. You know, you have to be dressed appropriately. You are the professional one here. And, I mean, the same thing that we would expect teachers and educators, how we would expect them to be in school, if it were, quote, unquote, a normal school setting, that's the same thing we're expecting from them in a virtual world.
So in terms of some of the things that you have learned along the way, as you have begun to engage in this online learning, what are some of the biggest lessons?
That's a good question. You know, again, equity comes into a big time play here. You know, I've already hinted to it earlier, is just equity. Not everybody's situation, household is the same. With this online learning, we have to understand that there's so many different factors that affect the family. You know, so part of my job is to check in on families and check in with teachers. And, you know, there's a family I need to actually touch bases with today after seeing a teacher's follow-up email, is the parents are doing their best. They're responsive, but the parents, both of them are working. There's supposed to be 3 children at home, one being an older child, but we've only seen the 2 elementary school students on camera. You know, one third grader is helping out the kindergartner. So now that 3rd grader is not technically focused on his lesson planning. You know, so I have to call home because we have to make sure that there actually is an older child, middle school, high school, that's in the house with them. So in another family, well, quite many families have reached out about child care because although we're coming back into the building, our buildings next week on hybrid learning, child care is limited. So this digital learning, I mean, there's so many different factors that affect it that we really need to address and think about. Obviously, the schools can't handle everything, but those social services and community organizations and churches, this is truly when, you know, you talk about it takes a village to raise a child. We need our village.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, we've heard some horror stories about some of the things that we've seen, you know, online as we've engaged in this Zoom stuff. But I think in some ways, and I'm curious to know what you think about this, in some ways we learn more about what's going on with kids and with these students because we can now do these things on Zoom. What do you think?
What do you mean specifically learn more things about students?
I think we can learn more about their work habits. I think we can learn more about their environment. I think we can learn more about what they need. I think we can learn more about, you know, a lot of things that you can't necessarily see when they're coming in and out of a school building. Now they're learning from home, and it's just a different view, I think, of what the students are going through.
I think it's a different view for the outside world, but for those of us educators who are here day in and day out, we already know many of these things.
Yeah.
We have expressed concern for many of these things. For us, it's not new. And when this first started, you know, many of us educators, the first things that we thought about were those children that we know were not in a good home environment for various reasons. You know, their safety was really our number one concern and being the check-in. So I think now for the outside world, they get to see to a certain extent how much educators are dealing with on a daily basis. You know, even for myself, part of my job now, since all this started and through the summer, I'm doing food distributions at my school to feed, you know, our families. We did our wellness survey, and many of the families that have food insecurity, you know, these are the things that we've been talking about that directly affect education. And, you know, do we have a snack program? Is food provided? Because we know this. We've been talking about it. We've been preaching about it. We've been screaming about it. But now we really need our families, our parents, our guardians, like I said, our churches, our communities to really band together to now finally help all of these families, what we've been saying for years but not being heard.
And so now that other folks are kind of seeing what educators have known, to your point, about the challenges that the students face, are there more resources coming in, more help coming in around trying to meet some of these needs?
There are. You know, I can only speak for my school and here in Mercer County. So, for example, one of our food distributions is with Trenton Area Soup Kitchen and Soup 411. And so we've had local restaurants, Killarney's, Texas Roadhouse, and Mariachi Grill, who have come out to feed our families all through the summer, and they're continuing to do this. I've reached out to places like Mercer Street Friends, again, for food. So people are coming together because of the COVID. Obviously, there's some limitations in regards to safety issues, you know, because one of the things we're dealing with now as the children come back to school is, you know, the nurse was saying not allowed to have any clothing anymore to give out if a child has an accident, you know, playground or what have you. And now you can't have kids bring all this stuff from home and leave at school. So something as simple as that, you have a kindergartner who's coming to school, might have an accident. Now we're talking about can't clean them up or help them clean themselves up in school, give them a change of clothes to tide them over to family comes. So, like I said, the levels are deep. The levels are deep, but people are, you know, they're extending a hand. We've received donations for masks for the students that they've returned. So, yeah, you know, the community definitely is coming together.
Wow. So I think, you know, what is the biggest takeaway for you in having to put together these new protocols for kids who are learning online? What's the biggest takeaway for you?
That's another good question. I never tend to think about me, what I'm taking away from it, but what the children need. I guess my biggest takeaway and what I would like to see is some of the things that are coming to light in the programs that are being put in place, protocols and procedures, that some of them we continue with them. And it's not like, okay, things are now good, things are now back to normal, and we forget these things. It's a matter of how can we take what we've had to do in the ingenuity and the creativity, and how do we continue with that to make things even better once we are truly back to normal.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD Radio. That, of course, is Darielle Maria. She's the Title I Culture and Climate Specialist at Cruiser Elementary School in Hamilton, New Jersey. Thanks so much.
You are very welcome. Have a blessed day.
All right, you too. So we got a couple minutes. We're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Of course, we also want to invite you to join us on Tuesday, October 13th, as WURD welcomes back beloved host Nick Taliaferro for the new Drive Time show, Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Tune in every Monday through Thursday from 4 to 7 for the best in conversation and contemplation. The show will feature Nick's unique brand of wit, wisdom, and humor as he talks with authors, experts, newsmakers, and you. Check out Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro starting this Tuesday, October 13th. And keep your dial locked so you don't miss Sincerely Sarita at her new time, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9. Sarita's new show, Safe Space with Sincerely Sarita, will feature insightful, in-depth interviews with the most interesting voices in Philly and beyond. She'll bring a spirit of clarity and openness to save space for intergenerational dialogue and healing. Spend your evenings with Nick and Sarita beginning October 13th right here on WURD Radio. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in. Let's go to Louise from Center City on line 1. Go ahead, Louise.
Hi, good morning to all. I was thinking, well, do you think that the reason why Trump is playing down this hoax of him being sick is so that the vice president Pence can come in and take his place?
I don't know.
And there won't be an election?
Yeah, there's still going to be an election.
Okay. But you know what? My my jingle is, I'm a sandwich man. I'm a sandwich man. I can make a sandwich better than anyone can. You ever heard of that one?
Nope.
I think it's Swirl's mayonnaise.
Mm-mm.
Never? I know some people have. Well, that's my my jingle.
Okay, love it. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Barry from Southwest on line 2. Go ahead, Barry.
Yes, good morning, brother. I don't know whether or not this fits the category, but I remember MICKEYMOUSE.
That's right.
And in reference to the debates, real quick, I love the part when Kamala mentioned that Donald was able to fill in 50 federal judge slots, and none of them were black.
That's right.
You said you seen the fly on his head. I didn't see the fly. All I seen was his ears, and looking like he was a deer caught in the headlights. That's all that. Nice idea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio. And, I mean, there was no response to that. There was no response to that. You had a response for everything else. There was no response for that. That was absolutely crazy. And, so we're going to continue the show right here on WURD Radio. And we're going to talk with Michael Edison Hayden. He's a senior investigative reporter at the Southern Poverty Law Center about the hate groups in the country and their rise. It is something that we absolutely have to talk about, especially with the news coming out of Michigan that you had armed militia talking about kidnapping Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Michael Edison Hayden is on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
But they've got the experience.
I'm still in shock 3 or 4 years later that we're in this position now. Our democracy is at a pivotal point.
From the top, we don't trust our government. We see the trouble we're in economically. We've got 170,000 Americans dead, and yet this president will do anything he can to make it seem like things are better than they are.
I did more for the black community than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
It's our responsibility. If we don't lead that effort to make things better, we can't ask other people to do it. There is no good reason not to vote.
right? We need to have individuals that are in office like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
They are our best shot to take us forward. And that's what makes me incredibly hopeful, but we really do have to work for this thing.
To the thousands who did not vote, we need you to show up for our future and for our country.
You cannot sit on the sidelines. You got to get in the game.
Paid for by Biden for president.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. By definition, inspiration is something that gives us new and creative ideas. We often believe that we only need inspiration when we have a goal or a project in mind. However, getting inspired can be easy with a little practice. Try this. Number 1, write down exactly what you truly desire in your life. Number 2, think about solutions to hurdles and challenges you face. Number 3, think about the next best step in your current situation. Staying inspired requires thought, intention, and space to be creative. In fact, allowing inspiration to be present in our lives is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at WURDradio.com. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones, right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Michael Edison Hayden. He's a senior investigative reporter at the Southern Poverty Law Center. He joins us to talk about hate groups in the country and some of his recent work around that issue. Mr. Hayden, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hanging in.
Man, this is crazy. I just have to say it because I think that given that, you know, we contacted you a little while ago, I mean, and now we are dealing with a story about one of these groups that is talking about kidnapping the governor of Michigan.
Yeah.
And this is work that you've been doing for a while, looking at, you know, hate groups, militias, you know, others who are on the fringes. What did you think when you heard that particular story?
I mean, there has been a steady flow of rhetoric coming from the fringes and being supported all the way to the top of government, you know, that has been, you know, targeting people like Whitmer, since the coronavirus lockdowns began. So in some ways, it felt like an extension, almost a throwback to some of the stuff that had happened just before we went into the summer. If you recall, there were, you know, before, you know, there were these widespread racial justice marches across the country. One of the bigger stories were these people, you know, storming into the Michigan State House armed, and it felt like you know, a throwback to that, or at least, you know, an attempt to kind of find closure to that. I mean, it's sad, and it's obviously a very scary situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, you know, when you look at what's going on with these hate groups, with these militias, you know, it is, to your point, something that's been building. So what have you seen in your reporting around what's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years with these groups?
So, I mean, it's important to, you know, not to conflate one thing with another. You know, not every militia is a, you know, a white supremacist militia. They may have like far right ambitions of a different order. You know, in the case of some of these boogaloo groups, which is like the militia stuff, you know, some of them may be just extreme libertarian, pro Second Amendment people who are focused on gun issues and get obsessed with freedom and that sort of thing. And they may be somewhat different in their beliefs than, the people who stormed Charlottesville in August of 2017. Those are not, what we would call militias or that sort of thing. Those were neo-Nazi and white nationalist groups. I know there's for your average listener, they may say, well, what's the difference? But I think we can talk about their similarities, which is, under Trump over the last 4 years, we've seen a huge increase in activity of groups of all kinds, and that's militias, anti-government militias, which is more closely tied to what we saw with the Boogaloo stuff and the Whitmer plot, and white nationalist and neo-Nazi groups like the type of people who stormed Charlottesville in August of 2017.
So, run through some of the differences and the ideologies between these groups.
Sure. I mean, we had a recent story about a group of white nationalists that are connected to somebody based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that we published stories on. And these are, some people in those groups are people who are really focused on this white genocide myth, this white genocide conspiracy theory. So, what they kind of believe is this idea that the demographics of the United States are changing over time, and elites, in some cases they believe Jews are deliberately changing the demographics in order to eliminate white people forever, right? There's this feeling of loss. They're haunted by this idea of loss, and somebody is coming in to try to eliminate them, et cetera. It's a very powerful, intoxicating conspiracy theory to believe in, because if you are believing in, you believe in the idea that you're being eliminated from the earth, you are capable of doing almost anything, and it suddenly gives your life a tremendous amount of purpose because you think you're fighting against that. In the case of the anti-government people, it's sort of similar in the sense that elites are also controlling, but they're trying to control every aspect of somebody's lives. And, this idea that you're living in this dystopian world where government is controlling every aspect of you. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories there. They just believe stuff that is totally false. I don't know if you're familiar with the QAnon conspiracy theory. Yeah. So run through what the QAnon conspiracy theory is, because I think people need to hear that. So what is it that these QAnon folks believe? It's so weird that I couldn't actually believe it was a real thing when at the beginning I couldn't believe it was catching on. I remember the first time I saw it, I said, no, it's not possible. I think it first cropped up in the fall of 2017, and there was this thing where Trump did a kind of it was like a photo op type thing, and he spoke to the press and he said, "Oh, a storm is coming," and then on these far right forums like 4chan and 8chan. 8chan no longer exists because it was tied to so many mass shootings. There was a person or an account that was calling itself Q, which was claiming to have messages about the storm coming, and Q became this QAnon. It's an anonymous person. And the idea was that QAnon was a person who had access to Trump and was in Trump's immediate circle. Some thought he was Trump himself, and that was giving these, his supporters these secret messages, right? Like some secret decoder ring type stuff, for children. But people really believed it, and a lot of the messages were a reboot of Pizzagate, which was this idea that that Hillary Clinton and members of the Democratic Party were running a pedophilia dungeon or whatever, which is absolutely false and totally made up. But this was a way to kind of reboot that. And there was tons of things. Everybody was involved in this pedophilia ring, and Trump was going to break out the truth on this thing and make clear that all these Democratic politicians were under arrest and all this stuff, and a storm was coming. That was the storm. And it became so big that it began to lose almost all coherence. It just became this weird pro-Trump thing where they believe that every single person that is opposed to Trump is is a pedophile or something like that. I mean, it's quite disturbing. But I mean, these type of things happen when you have a government that is really kind of pushing conspiracy theories rather than trying to calm them down.
Yeah. And so, you have these groups that are arranged around some of these things. Now, there is also white supremacy and some of those groups. And you have folks who are now saying that white supremacy is really the biggest threat right now to the United States and to our security. Talk about some of that.
Well, I mean, going back for as long as I've been alive, and I'm 41, white supremacist activity, far-right extremism has been really the big threat, like domestically in the U.S. Now, we obviously, that was taken over by the 9/11 era, which was, obviously very shocking and horrible. But for a very long time, there have been far right domestically. There have been far right terrorist plots that have been building, across the country. We remember, of course, the Oklahoma City bombing. Yeah. And how many hundreds of people were killed there. So in terms of what is happening with white supremacists now, there has been a huge uptick recently between that sort of plotting and, that sort of organizing, the white supremacist organizing that's been happening, and people taking action. If you look at El Paso, for example, in August of 2019, it's a really horrific thing. This young man, the suspect is not convicted yet, allegedly believes very strongly in this demographic replacement conspiracy theory that I mentioned before, this idea that, people are coming from south of the border into the United States and they're going to, they're plotting to take over, white people and make it impossible for white people to be a majority in the United States anymore. So he goes and he kills 24 people in this Walmart. This is the type of threat that has become much, much bigger in recent years, and is very scary. You look also at the Tree of Life shooting. That's also an extension of that. That was in October. I think it was 28th or 27th, October 27, 2018. And this guy who believed that, again, that Jews are, on purpose removing or replacing white people in the U.S., bringing in refugees was his biggest paranoia. Goes in and he kills 11 Jewish people in a synagogue. I mean, these were all people. It was really a very sad situation. These were all grandmothers and grandfathers. They're in their 70s, most of them. And, just a horrific thing. But that type of propaganda, that type of conspiracy mongering has reached a real fever pitch in recent years. We should not be worried that white supremacists are plotting along on every street corner in the U.S. That's not necessarily the case. I don't think that people need to be living in fear that this is going to happen every minute of the day going forward or anything like that. But it is a very serious issue, and it is an issue that I think we've been reluctant to take seriously, in part because when there is a foreign terrorist threat, it's somehow easier for people to picture. And when you're dealing with a domestic threat, these are people who have been, it's been easier, I think, for law enforcement to not take it as seriously as they should have. And it's coming to roost, I think, in the last few years.
And so, in your reporting, what are you finding is happening with how the government is investigating these various groups and trying to deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, as far as what the government has done, I mean, not to critique too much. I mean, I think that they were really too slow to understand the degree to which this was a threat, early on, and it was only after I think El Paso that things started to change, and we started to see the FBI crack down on a lot of these plots. But before El Paso, we had the Tree of Life shooting, as I mentioned. There was an attack in Poway, another synagogue in Poway. Fortunately, only one person was killed, but it could have been much more. The plan was to kill many more people. So I think that sort of stuff was a wake up call, and the FBI has been certainly getting a lot more aggressive in recent months at foiling these things. But at the same time, you have the Department of Homeland Security. There's a whistleblower who alleges that they have doctored intelligence reports to make it look as if left-wing extremists are more dangerous than they are, and white supremacists are less dangerous than they are. I don't know if the whistleblower report is true. I don't know that. But if it is true, that is a really horrific thing, and it's something that needs to be amended right away, because if you look around the country, we have not seen that type of violence from left-wing extremists. And there are left-wing extremists in the United States, but they just are simply not carrying out these kind of organized terror plots in the same way.
Where can we find your work around this? I find it fascinating. Where can we find your work?
So Southern Poverty Law Center is SPL Center, CENTER.org, SPLcenter.org, and /hate watch. That's we'll focus on that. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Michael E. Hayden, MichaelEHayden, and you can just send me a message there. I'll tell you where to find some of these articles.
All right. That's Michael Edison Hayden. He's a senior investigative reporter at the Southern Poverty Law Center. He joined us to talk about hate groups in the country and some of his recent work. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD. You're welcome.
Have a great morning.
You do the same. Michael Edison Hayden from the Southern Poverty Law Center. He's been looking into these things for a while, and he's right. They have various reasons why they come together for this stuff. Some of it's racial, some of it's anti-government, some of it is other things. But the one thread that I hear in what he's telling me is that they have these crazy conspiracy theories that that they coalesce around, and it's something that has to be watched. It's something that has to be we have to know and understand what's going on around us. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. On the other side of this break, we're going to continue the show with your calls right here on WURD.
The time is now to put an end to the chronic incompetence of Donald Trump and his League of Liars. Donald Trump makes a mockery of the institution of the presidency. He's polarized our country, and his dangerous policies must not continue. Joe Biden has the character, empathy, and experience to lead us through these challenging times. He helped lead the nation out of the 2008 financial crisis into the longest period of economic growth in our history, and he can do it again. As president, he will heal divisions and unite us around the shared values of justice. He'll create opportunities for quality education and good-paying jobs, and he'll build on the Affordable Care Act, not tear it down. While Donald Trump thinks coronavirus and climate change are a hoax, Joe Biden already has a coronavirus recovery plan and a strategy to create more jobs while also tackling the climate crisis. Vote for a president who will stand on the right side of history. Vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Paid for by Black PAC and Priorities USA Action. BlackPAC.com and PrioritiesUSAAction.org, which are responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Hello?
Hey, you've been on my mind, so I'm just calling to check in.
Oh, we're holding up well here in Pennsylvania. Just trying to stay safe and figuring out if we should vote in person or by mail. We like going to the polls.
Yeah, you never miss an election.
And you know we're not missing this year either, and neither should you. But which way is the safest?
Well, remember that valuable information you got from AARP about COVID-19? Mom even had me read it.
Yeah, that was good info.
AARP has up-to-date voting information for 50-plus voters in every state. It's right there at aarp.org/election2020.
Oh, I got it. aarp.org/election2020. I love having the answers before your mama.
Pops, you know what happens when you try to show out.
Yeah, you probably right about that.
Just one more step. You got it.
You're doing great. This is the sound of a nationally ranked top rehabilitation hospital, home to the largest collection of robotics in the United States, where we continually exceed patient expectations, because no injury is too severe or too minor for our care.
There you go.
This is the sound of success. Moss Rehab. Challenge accepted.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show, with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM WURD. Circuits are busy. Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with Word.
Trying to find the story.
Sister Act fans, a happy day may be on the horizon. Whoopi Goldberg recently confirmed that Sister Act 3 is in the works for a long time. They kept saying nobody wanted to see it, she said, and then quite recently it turns out that that may not be true. People may want to see it.
And after hours of listening to Philadelphia residents testify about the physical and emotional scars they carry as a result of police firing tear gas or rubber bullets at them, city council members pledged it wouldn't happen again, introducing a bill Thursday that would permanently ban the use of such tactics against protesters in the city.
And Tory Lanez has been charged with a felony count of assault with firearm related to the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. The L.A. County DA's office announced on Thursday that Lanez has been hit with one felony count each of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm. in a vehicle, and that is what's trending. All right, so we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we are talking about on this morning show. Of course, we're talking about the trending stories as well as our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, President Trump called Kamala Harris a monster twice during an interview Thursday, the morning after she made history as the first black and Asian American woman to participate in a vice presidential debate. Story number 2, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a motion Wednesday attempting to bar an unidentified grand juror from speaking publicly about indictment proceedings in the Breonna Taylor case. And of course, story number 3, yesterday they arrested 13 men on federal or state charges for plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Of course, we're also talking about something else, because last night I'm putting together the show. I'm kind of walking around my house, and suddenly the Apple Jacks jingle just jumped in my head, and I'm thinking, oh, Lord, I know I'm not the only one with these jingles from years ago, decades ago, still in my head. And so we have gone through the morning talking about some of your favorite jingles. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. And I want to remind you one more time that Monday and Tuesday, big days here at WURD. Of course, Monday, October 12th, it is a special day-long EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit. It's also a day when you can renew your forward membership at wordradio.com. And you can also get a copy of this month's Black Words Book Club selection, A Terrible Thing to Waste, Environmental Racism and Its Assault on the American Mind by Harriet A. Washington. The EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit is produced in collaboration with Bartram's Garden and from the Source Reporting Collaborative. It's supported by PICO, the Watershed Education Alliance, the Linfest Institute, and the William Penn Foundation. Be sure to tune in Monday starting at 10, and you can learn more at wordradio.com. Just another reminder of that. And I also want to remind you again of this. This Tuesday, October 13th, we're all excited to welcome back beloved host Nick Taliaferro for the new Drive Time show, Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. You can tune in every Monday through Thursday from 4 to 7 for the best in conversation and contemplation. Also, right after him, Sincerely Sarita at her new time, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9. Sarita's new show, Save Space with Sincerely Sarita, will feature insightful, in-depth interviews with the most interesting voices in Philly and beyond. You can learn more about all of that at WURDradio.com. So we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. Let's go to Eugene from West Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Eugene.
Solomon, good morning. Thanks for a very interesting show.
You're welcome.
I think what King Trump is trying to do, this thing with Corona, it's fake. To me, it's phony as could be. He's trying to deflect attention away from Biden. He wants the spotlight. Then he gets into the SUV, rides around to wave at his supporters to tell them, I'm Superman. Nothing stops me. You know, the only way I believe he's sick, I got to see a picture of him bedridden with the tubes in his nose. With these white supremacists trying to do a coup d'etat in Michigan, I think this is Act 1 of what Trump and his white supremacist friends have in mind for the country. I checked on my phone the other day. They have like 10,000 active members in militia and violent hate groups across the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We appreciate it. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in. Renee from Logan is on line 2. Go ahead, Renee.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Thank you. You got me laughing again.
You're welcome.
You know, the post heard it. Oscar Mayer Wiener.
How about that?
Yeah, and that one was revived again when the official in New York got into sexual trouble. His name was Weiner also. So that came up. Now, calling Kamala monster.
Yeah.
That is so disgraceful, so awful, so low that every day I just can't think that he can sink lower, and he does it. He does it every single day.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. And finally, your guest talking about the terrorist groups.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have asked him, how did Minister Farrakhan get on their list as terrorist groups? And on what basis did Facebook throw Minister Farrakhan off of Facebook? Because I don't understand that.
All right. Well, I'm going to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio, and thank you for weighing in. 215-634-8065. Let's go to Earl from Atlantic City on line 3. Go ahead, Earl.
Good morning, Brother Solomon. Great show today as always.
Thank you.
Something struck me this morning. I wasn't on your show all day because I had a meeting this morning, but what struck me this morning about the terrorist kidnapping plot was how they arrested all those men without incident. And I don't know whether you talked about that while I wasn't on, but it just struck me that these men were talking about having bombs and all these weapons, and they just like they're loaded down.
Yeah.
And how could they arrest all of them? And poor Breonna Taylor can't get arrested in a peaceful manner. Either going to work, pull her over in her car, surround her and arrest her. I noticed the difference in the police tactics.
Yes.
And it was startling to me how there was no gunfire with these terrorists. Nobody's house blew up. I would like to see the police procedure that they used for them that they couldn't use for Breonna. Thank you, brother.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Earl from Atlantic City on line 3. Go ahead, Earl. Oh, that was Earl. Let's go to Big Slim from Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Big Slim.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
That's good. I just called for my jingle.
Okay, let's have it.
I wonder where the yellow went when you brushed your teeth with Pepsi.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. See, the toothpaste commercials was deep. This ain't a jingle, but you remember the cavity creeps? You probably don't remember the cavity creeps. The cavity creeps with Crest. The cavity creeps would come in and they would, they do battle with them cavities in your mouth. And they had a whole cartoon around the cavity creeps with Crest toothpaste back in the day. Let's go to Tony from North Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Tony.
Good morning, Solomon. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
All right, and good morning, Queen Kuwaisa. Solomon, just like the guy you just had on, I was listening and say, it's funny how he was saying all the militia is not bad. There's some nice white militia. Just like...
That's not what he was saying, though. What he was saying was that they come together for different reasons.
Yeah, but Solomon, listen, militia, armed white... Listen, man. I've been living in America over 68 years. When you say white militia with armed weapons, I got one chill up my spine.
Yeah, I hear you.
So what I'm saying, just like Trump saying about in that Virginia stuff, it was nice white people. Just like
but that's not what he was saying, though.
He was saying it was some good people.
No, he didn't say that. He never said that. That's not what he was saying.
Who? Trump or the guy?
No, I'm talking about the guy.
Yeah, but
now Trump, that's a different story.
No, but Solomon, but he was trying to, separate the two and make one bad and one not so radical. That's what I'm saying.
All right, well, that's what you heard. I'm not going to tell you what you think of what he said, but I know, for me, I didn't take it that way.
All right, well, this is what I'm getting at, and I'm going to get off. Just like in Nazi Germany in the concentration camps, it was the nice white people around those just acting like they didn't know what was going on. Just like this election coming. We're going to see how the nice white people going to vote.
Yeah, well, I don't want to – I just don't agree with that. I don't agree that that's what the gentleman was saying. Now, Kuwaisa, you heard the interview. Is that what you heard him saying?
Yeah, no, he didn't say that.
No.
He was just, basically trying to give everybody a full picture of, what different types of groups there are. And he didn't, minimize the fact that there are more hate groups now under Trump. He didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, I'm not going to tell y'all how to interpret what you hear. You interpret it for yourself. But I will tell you that's not what I heard him say. So I'm going to go back to the phone lines. Renee from West Oak Lane is on line 4. Go ahead, Renee.
Yeah, good morning, Solomon Coaxa. I just want to say a commercial. I don't know if you know about Sugar Crisp. They said can't get enough of that Sugar Crisp. Sugar Crisp. It was a cereal out.
Super Sugar Crisp. It had a bear on it.
Right.
With a turtleneck on.
Well, yeah. And
Yeah.
I wanted to mention about so far as the commercial that Trump had for his campaign about the woman that he pardoned out of prison. I really can't stand that commercial. Not the fact because she's out, the fact because this president used black people for brownie points. You know, I don't really think genuine about that. And another thing I wanted to say about Pence talking about the American people and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they just need to stop using black people and American people for their incompetent decisions, and just get out and vote him out and his administration.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD this morning. Man, it has been a jam-packed show as usual, and I want to thank everybody who joined us on today's show, including all of our guests, which are, of course, Councilwoman Cindy Bass, Michael Edison Hayden of the Southern Poverty Law Center, Dario Marius of Kusser Elementary School in Hamilton, New Jersey, and financial consultant Akbar Hassan. And now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for Tiffany Bacon coming up next, and tune in Monday at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.
This coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandmom.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
According to the radical left, Kathy Barnett isn't supposed to exist, let alone be a candidate for